Hi friends, it's Kristen. So I'm going to try this again. I already started filming, but something happened. So this is the fifth and final part of my eyeshadow palette declutter. So we still have quite a few to go through, so I am going to just get started. All right, next up we have our next up for me because I had already started filming. We have the Los Angeles palette from BH Cosmetics. It's really pretty. It's just very pastel, which is not my thing. So we are going to declutter that one. Next up, we have from BH as well, the Absence palette. Really pretty. Green's going to keep that one. Next up, we have the Do Not Disturb palette, which is upside down. I'm going to keep this. Next up, we have the MAC Stranger Things collaboration. This is the first time I tried any MAC eyeshadows, and I was pretty impressed. I don't know if this is my color story, though, so I think I'm going to put this in the, we're going to try it in a few months and see if I want to keep it pile. Next up, we have the Tokyo palette from BH. A really pretty, but it's very rainbow, and I feel like I have this. I think I'll put it in the let's see how we feel in a 6 months or so pile. All right, next up, also from BH, we got the 80s Remix Dance. Very cool color story. I wish I had more shimmers. I don't remember using it, but I must have. I'm gonna put this in the try it pile. Next up, we have the 90s Remix Dance. I really like the shimmers, but this is also very pastel. I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. And next up, we have from Revolution. This is the Beetlejuice palette. This palette swatched horribly, but the application, the eye looks weren't horrible. I'm going to keep it more just for the packaging than the actual eyeshadow, but it is a keep. And then we have from Revolution again, the Corpse Bride palette. I was actually pretty impressed with the quality on this one. I thought it did well with the look I created, so I'm going to keep that. Alright, next up we have the AC Beauté Falling For You palette. This is really pretty. I think I'm going to keep this. And then we have the Nostalgia palette from AC Beauté. Also very pretty, gonna keep. And then we have the AC Beauté Violet Sage. I think I only used this one once. I am gonna put this in the let's try it and see how we feel pile, because I'm just not sure of my thoughts on it from when I tried it before. Next up, we have the Naked Honey palette from Urban Decay. This is really a very nice goldy yellow color story I'm going to keep. And then from Ace Beauté again, we have the Floral Vintage. I think I'm going to declutter this one. I just feel like I have these shades, and yeah. And then next up we have from Revolution again, the Simpsons palette. This is like the Treehouse of Horror collection. I know I used it. I don't really remember my thoughts. I don't think I was super impressed. They had a little highlighter palette that I liked much more, but I'm going to keep this once again mostly for just the packaging and nostalgia and all that good stuff. All the right reasons to keep an eyeshadow palette, right? All right, next up, I think we have all my Odin's eyes. So we have this one. This is the Alva 2 Mini Ocean palette. This is not my color story. I'm not like an orange with the blue, so I'm actually going to declutter it. I know. Who am I? Odin's Eye is my favorite, but I just know that I really won't reach for that, so hopefully somebody else can get a better use out of it. Next up, we have the Alva 2 Mini Sky. I'm going to keep this one. I like the purples. Very pretty. The next three is the Planet Spirit, or, oh, Planet Spirit, Sea Talk, Flora. I forgot the name of the actual, like, collaboration. But this is Flora palette with Makeup Just for Fun. Her name's Amanda. Keeping that pretty purple green. And then the Sea Talk palette. This is from Lauren May Beauty. Really like, there's a little bit of neutral, but like you got the blue and that yellow is, that's so pretty. All right, keeping that one. And then my favorite from Batty Bean. It's just pretty colorful. I love it. It's just so fun. So keeping that. And next up we have Giant Wools. This is the collab they did with Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. I didn't get this palette originally when it first came out. I just didn't, I had just kind of found out about Onsai, and I picked up another palette in this collection. You'll see it next. But I didn't get it. It sold out. So I ended up getting it on Mercari for more money than it originally sold for. But it's so beautiful. I'm so glad I got it. So definitely happy to have that one. And then the one that I originally got from that collection is the Hummingbird palette with Fancy Face. So also a beautiful, love it. And then next up we have the Soulmane 2 eyeshadow palette. Oranges, purples, blues, what more could you want? Greens, maybe. Keeping that one. And then next up we have the Alva eyeshadow palette. This is more neutral leaning. I really think it's still pretty, but I also, this is what I wore on my wedding day, so I probably will never get rid of that. Get rid of it for that reason. So keeping that one. And next up we have the original Hella palette that they did with Angelica Nequest. Once again, beautiful greens and the pinks even. Maybe not that pink. That might be a little bright for me because pinks and reds make me look like I'm sick. Yeah, very pretty. Really love that. And I think this, oh, these are the gel liners that I got. They just happen to be, because I have a shelf of Onsai, so that's something else. And then next up, we have the Alva 2. So this is kind of like the, oh, this glitters. No. Like the colorful companion to the Alva one. I actually think I'm going to declutter this. I didn't originally think so, but I have these colors. I don't think this is like their top-notch formula. I don't think it's bad, but I think their newer formula is better. There's glitters in here that are now all over my hand, so that will go in the declutter pile. And last one, we have the Saga of Freya Chapter 2 Cat's Breath palette. Pretty blues and oranges, which really aren't my color story. I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. It's so pretty though. Part of me wants to just keep it because it's pretty. But I think maybe somebody will enjoy it more. Alright, next pile. We have this little Star Wars palette. It's from Pat McGrath. It is an all shimmer palette. I did do a video with it. I paired it with the Blends palette because it is all shimmer. I'm going to keep it. A little bit because of the packaging, a little bit because of the colors. Oh, come on. Oh, well, I'll fix it later. Next up we have ColourPop Ticket to Dreamland. I think I'm going to declutter this one. It's just a little too light for me. Next up, we got Lush Life from ColourPop. I think this is really pretty. Keeping that. Next up, this is from ColourPop, but it was a build your own palette. I am going to keep it. Probably should put it with my singles, but we'll just count it as a palette for now. Couple more ColourPops. This is the Mandalorian The Child palette. That's pretty. Keeping that. And then we got the other Mandalorian palette, the Mandalorian one. Really nice, like, cool tone, grayish, a little bit of brownish in there. So keeping that. I don't know if I said that. And then we have the Little Ray of Sunshine. I think this is really pretty. It is all matte, but I definitely have some shimmers that'll go nice with it. And I do like those yellow tones. I'm keeping that one. Then we have the Cabana Club. I don't know. I think I'm gonna declutter this one. And then next up I have the Hocus Pocus 2, but this is the third Hocus Pocus palette that they did. They did 2 in collaboration with the first movie, and then they did 1 in collaboration with the second movie. I really like this color story, so I'm definitely keeping. And then next up we have the Nightmare Before Christmas ColourPop. Not my favorite color story, but I just really like the packaging and the aesthetic, so I'm keeping this one. Okay. Next up, we have Urban Decay with Robin Eisenberg. I'm not sure who that is, but I thought this was kind of fun with a little bit of neutral, kind of like purpley and then blue shades, and my mother-in-law got this for me, so I am going to keep it. Alright, I'm going to just make some room over here. Then next up, this is also from my mother-in-law. It's the Urban Decay Wild West. Excuse me. I'm going to keep that one. And then we have the Moon Dust palette from Urban Decay. I haven't used this in forever. Like, they're pretty shimmers, but I don't know, they're kind of they're a little bit patchy, and so I think I will declutter this one. They're probably like be fine for a topper kind of shade, but I have so many shimmers that I really love that I don't really use, so that will go in the declutter. Next up we have the Mercury Retrograde from Huda Beauty. I like this palette quite a bit. I'm going to keep for sure. And then from Moira we have the Pretty Little Thoughts palette. I'm gonna declutter this one. Yeah. And then we have the Alice in Wonderland palette from Sigma. I think some of the palettes that I've shown you have been a little bit out of frame. The way this is set up, I am very short and it's hard to see the camera from the angle, so I apologize. This is really pretty. I really enjoyed it. I will keep this. And that's the Flavor Saver is Alice. I thought that was cute. Kind of a fun little detail that they added. Next up we have Sigma Untamed. This is a pretty palette. I think I will keep it. Next up from Game Beauty, this is the Fantasy palette. It was okay, but I didn't love it, and I think I just have things I like more. So I will declutter this one. Next up we have the Obsessed with Pinky Rose. I think that's a really pretty color story. There's a lot of neutrals. Oh, that yellow is really nice. But do I need it for just a yellow? I'm gonna put this in the let's try it later, see if I like it pile. And next up we have the Gemini 2 from Milk Cosmetics. Okay, like, is that mold? I know people have said that there has been mold. That looks like mold. Oh, so I'm just gonna put that on my hand, and I don't know, that was, can you guys see that? Sorry, I'm blinding you, but in that shade, little spots. That's, I don't like that. This is gonna be decluttered, obviously, probably, definitely in the garbage. Okay, and I haven't had it for that long. All right, next up, Exotic Peacock. This I'm definitely gonna keep. I love this color story. It's so fun. All right, we're winding down, guys. Next up, we have the Earthy palette from BH Cosmetics. I really enjoy this. There's just a lot of different tones and depths to these greens, and I really like green eyeshadow. And then we have the Midnight palette. Really pretty. And once again, it's, even though it's kind of like slightly monochromatic, like the earthy one, there's still a lot you can do with it. So definitely keeping. Next up we have from Salem and the Witch, or from Salem Cosmetics, it's the Salem and the Witch palette. I really enjoy this. They recently like reformulated, and I heard that the new one is even better, which I kind of feel a little like conflicted about, because this wasn't cheap. And so I feel like, oh, I got it originally, paid the same price or maybe a little less, I don't know for sure. But now they made a better formula. Like, I am glad that they're improving, but it's kind of like, but I don't want to buy the palette again when I already bought it. And yeah, anyway, but I'm keeping it regardless. I didn't mind the formula at all. 3. All right, next up from Hip Dot, we got the SpongeBob palette. This was okay. This is really, I don't know, I'm not in love with it, and I'm not really like that big of a SpongeBob fan, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. Next up from Violet Voss, we have a Flamingo palette. Maybe, gosh, did I even use it? I think I'm going to declutter this. I just feel like I have these colors. I think I'm going to put it in the keep, but see how I feel in a few months. Try it again and see. Alrighty. Next up, I totally forgot that I had this palette. I have the other two, well, not from this last year. Pat McGrath Labs, like their holiday palette, and I totally forgot I had this one, so that doesn't bode well. So that's what it looks like. It's not bad, but like I said, I forgot that I even had it, so I am gonna just go ahead and declutter this one. Alright, next up from Glamlight. I think everything else is from Glamlight. This is the Cake palette. This is the first palette I got from Glamlight. I can't remember last time I used it, but it's really pretty. I think I will keep it. And, alright, come here. And then we have the Margarita palette from Glamlight. This is a really fun color story. What am I doing? So I think I'm going to keep it. And And it's just fun to like show off the Glam Light packaging. Next up, I have the 2 smaller Scooby-Doo palettes. I will say the shimmers on here, on both these palettes, I feel really, I can't open it, really creased on my lids. So I want to try them again to see if with like a different primer they do better, because it's really pretty. I just wish there was a little bit more light to it, but gosh, and those shimmers are gorgeous. I wish my eyelids weren't so crepey and oily. It just makes it hard, especially for darker, really rich shimmers sometimes. I just don't want to work well on my lids. I don't know if I can get this one open. Should have brought a little tool. Usually I don't keep the outer sleeves, but alright. Well, this one's pretty as well. I just can't open it. And I'm going to try it out, see how I feel, if I can get those shimmers to work a little bit better. Next up we have the, I think this is the original Michaela palette. I really enjoyed it. I've used it quite a few times. I'm going to keep. And then we have the second Michaela palette. I'm going to keep. And then we have this a pizza slice palette. I think I found this at Marshall's. It's not bad. I like the color story, but I feel like I have these colors, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. And next up, ooh, sorry about that, we got the burger palette. It comes in like this fast food sleeve. It's so cool and creative, even though it's kind of cumbersome to store. I think I'm going to declutter this. I just don't see me reaching for it. It's a good formula, but it was fun. I do like Glam Light. Oh, come on now. Alright, so that's everything. Let me do a little quick math. So for this, we're decluttering 16. In the previous ones, we decluttered 59. And we're keeping 46. We're keeping 46 out of this declutter. So 69, 75. That is 180. So if my math is correct, from when we started the declutter, total is I'm decluttering 75 eyeshadow palettes. I'm keeping 180. I know that's a lot. I know some I'm keeping for sentimental reasons, which may be silly, but you know, I buy a lot of silly, fun, dumb stuff. So keeping things for like collections or just because it's pretty packaging, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know, you do your collection how you want to do it, but so yeah, I know I have a lot, but it's fun. It's kind of like a hobby, and it's a stress reliever, kind of like a meditation. I can't sit and meditate. I have to be doing something, but I can kind of zone in when I do makeup, and yeah, it's just kind of like my little makeup room's like a little safe place for me. So, alright guys, that's the end of the eyeshadow declutter. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment down below, send your friends. We have a lot of fun here, and I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you guys again soon. And you'll actually probably see my face coming up in the next video. Alright guys, thank you so much, and I will see you later. Bye.